go on with this. Yeah. See here, we are dealing with something called as improper fractions. Maybe I discussed about this in the last class, but still I would rather want to take, because this is something different that we have other than what we have done in the previous classes. Okay, inverse Z transforms only. Under inverse Z transforms, which equation is referred to as the improper fraction? Okay, see here in the denominator. Okay, let's go one step further. What happens? It is always the rule is to have a Z here in the denominator, right? Yes. So let's have that Z in the denominator. How can we have that Z in the denominator? You have Z to the power 4 plus Z square. So you can take a Z common and you can bring that here. Fine. That is what is here. Okay. Now, see here. The numerator term has got order 3. The denominator term has got order 2. This is third order equation. This is second order equation. Quadratic equation and cubic equation is what we call them. Or in general, if it is greater than 2 order, we call them as polynomials. Quadratic equation is something that has second. That's a second order equation with order equal to 2, power of 2. Fine, you all know that. Now, this is improper when this numerator term has got greater power than the denominator term. Okay, this is an improper fraction. Get that point? Now, when this is greater, this is lesser, then also improper. When these two are equal, then also it is improper. After we take this Z in the denominator, you should see that. Remember, after we take this Z in the denominator of LHS, then we have to look for this. So this should not be less than or equal to this. But in this case, yes, it is less than this. So this is a improper fraction. So we need to get this into a proper fraction. So this is an improper fraction. I repeat, these two powers, if they are same, then also it is improper. If this numerator term is of greater order, then also it is improper function. So what is a proper function? Proper function is one wherein the denominator equation will have lesser order compared to the numerator equation. Okay, hope that is clear to you now. Fine. Now you have to make it proper fraction by dividing the numerator by the denominator. We have dealt with this. Okay, so this is Z cube. I need to get rid of this Z cube. That means what? You just multiply this by Z so that we can have Z cube. So that is what we're doing. If you multiply by Z, this equation would become this, and just turn this into opposite signs. Okay, this is minus, this is plus, and this is minus now. So why we do that? Because we need to get rid of. It is just why we do this. We just want to get a opposite sign here. That is the idea. How can I do that? By multiplying the whole equation by minus. If I multiply the whole equation by minus, plus would become minus, minus would become plus, plus would become minus. That's it. Why we do this is just that. Multiply the whole equation by minus. Okay. So these two terms go off. Okay. Now you're left with this. You're left with Z square. These are Z terms. So you should not mistake. Okay. These two are Z. You need to be operating on these two. And this is 1. Okay. So it is plus 3 by 4 Z square. And plus Z minus 1 by Z would give you this. Now, this is numerator term again, because we started with the numerator term here. So this is numerator term again. So this is denominator term again. So if we stop here, the numerator term again would be of 2 and denominator would be of 2. So again, it would be an improper fraction. So if this is greater than this, then also it is improper. If it is equal to this, then also it is improper. So we need to go one step ahead. So multiplied by 3 by 4. Why we are doing that? Because it is 3 by 4 Z square, right? Anyway, Z square we have. So this 3 by 4 Z square needs to be got rid of. Okay. So you just multiply this equation by 3 by 4, and here it would become this. Okay. So these two terms are gone now. So what is left behind? So add these two terms. If you add these two terms, it will become 23 by 16Z minus 3 by 32. Now you see, this has got an order 1, whereas this has got an order 2. So that means the numerator term will have a lesser degree and denominator term will have a greater degree. So this here we need to stop. Here we need to stop. And how to write this? How to write this? Now here we need to write x of z again. The x of z was given in improper form. So we are trying to express that into proper fractions. How to do that? So at this point we need to write x of z, and that x of z is z plus 3 by 4 plus the numerator term divided by the denominator. This is denominator term, this is numerator term. Okay, so this is how we wrote that. Z plus 3 by 4 is what we start with, plus this term divided by this term. Everybody understand? Now this z plus 3 by 4 is something that we got extra along with this proper fraction. Okay, so this proper fraction term you call as x1 of z. Deal with x1 of z. This is again very similar to what we have been doing. This is mathematics. This is pure mathematics. There is no signals and systems concept involved. Okay, find k1 and k2, which happen to be this. Substitute this k1 and k2 in this equation. So your x1 of z would look like this. Okay, now after this is x1 of z. After we write x1 of z, take this z onto the right side. Why we have to? You understand the purpose of reserving this z on in the left hand side denominator, because this is needed on the right hand side numerator when we have to apply inverse z transform. Otherwise, inverse z transform cannot be applied. Yes, first two terms is not a problem. First two terms is not a problem, but here for this term to be a standard term, for this to be a standard transform, we need a z in the numerator. So z by z minus half we are aware of, z by z minus 4 we are aware of, but we are not aware of the terms like 1 by z minus 4, 1 by z minus half. You understand that point? Okay, so for that purpose we need to store it. We need to store this. Okay, so the stored z is sent onto the right hand side. Now we need to apply inverse z transform. Okay, when we are applying inverse z transform, there should not be any problem applying inverse z transform here. Okay, there should not be any problem when applying the inverse z transform. We need not have to look for the ROC, but we need to look for the ROC here. Get that point? We need to look for the ROC here. Fine. Now, what is the z transform, inverse z transform of z square? What is inverse z transform of this? That is, when do we have z square? When we have delta of n plus 2, we have z square. When we have delta of n plus 1, we have z. So these are z transforms of shifted unit impulses. If it is delta of n, it is 1. If it is delta of n plus 1, it is z. If it is delta of n plus 2, it is z square. Everybody is okay with that? Okay. So for this, ROC is not needed. We directly apply the inverse z transform. For this, yes, the ROC is needed. What is the ROC? ROC says it is outside the circle with radius half. Okay. So outside the circle with radius half means it is outside the circle with radius half. It is maximum pole. Half is the maximum pole. This is the minimum pole. So it is outside the maximum valued pole. So it is outside this also. So for both of this, it is outside the circle. Since for both the terms it is outside the circle, both the terms will have the positive time sequence in time domain. Okay. So this is how we write it. This is delta of n plus 2. This is 3 by 4 times delta of n plus 1. Okay, now here we need to associate the positive time sequence. What is positive time sequence associated with this in time domain? This 5 by 2 times 1 by 2 to the power n u of n. Here it is 1 by 4 to the power n u of n along with this 17 by 16. So this is your inverse z transform. So this is in time domain. So z domain was given, z domain term was given. From that we obtained the time domain sequence. Okay. Now, when would this be z of? When would this be delta of n minus 2? let's take that in the chat. Okay, can you go with the chat? When can this become delta of n minus 2? Go with the chat. When can this be minus? Go with the chat. What is the Z transform of delta of n minus 2? Yeah, somebody has come there. Okay, Pavana is telling it is Z to the power minus 2. Exactly. Okay, if it is, other says when it is right sided. Very good. Yeah, that answer is also acceptable. Okay, when it is Z to the power minus 2, it is delta of n plus 2. Sorry, n minus 2. Okay, for delta of n minus 2, this Z transform delta of n minus 2. Okay, only that. Okay, thank you, Anushri and Adarsh. Fine. That is what I wanted. I hope everybody else is also following that. Yeah. Okay. See here, since this is plus 2, there is plus 2 here. Since this is plus 1, there is plus 1 here. If it is z to the power minus 2, it would be delta of n minus. So if it is z to the power minus 1, it will be delta of n minus 1. And ROC is not required to do that. But here the ROC is needed. Why the ROC needs to be looked at here? Because z by z minus 2 is z transform of half power n u of n, as well it is z transform of minus half power n u of minus n minus 1. For both the positive time exponential and negative time exponential, it is the same transform, z transform, but they differ in ROC. For if it is negative time, ROC is inside the circle. If it is positive time, the ROC is outside the circle. That's why with these two, we need to be having the idea of region of convergence. With the first two terms, it's not needed. I hope that's clear to you now. Now, let's see this problem. How is this problem different from the problems that we have seen so far? Okay, in the problems that we have seen so far, nowhere the x of z was given with the negative powers of z. Nowhere it was given with negative powers of z. But here it is given with negative powers of z. So we need to first get this into positive powers of z. No, there are people, there are textbooks who deal with negative powers of z. So when they are dealing with negative powers of z, the standard transforms that we have derived should also be derived in terms of negative powers. But what we have done with our standard transforms, we have learned our standard transform, we have derived our standard transform in terms of positive powers of z. So that's why it is important to get the given equation in terms of negative powers of z. Okay, I'm again repeating, there are some textbooks. For example, Uday Kumar, if you take, he'll deal with the negative powers of z because he has derived the standard transforms in negative powers of z only. He is not bothered to get into the positive powers. But we have done it with the positive powers of z. So that's why it's important for us to get into positive powers of z. So how to do that? Just the denominator and numerator equations, you just multiply them by z square. Okay, so if it has to become positive powers of z, multiply the whole equation by z square. What it would become? So it would be z square here. So if you multiply z square to this, it is z to the power minus 1, z to the power plus 2. So it would become 2. It will become 2z. And here it is z to the power minus 2, right? Z to the power minus 2 into z to the power plus 2. So it would become 1. Similarly here. So this is z square. This is z. This would be 1. And that is what is written here. So how did we do this? Very simple stuff. Okay, just multiply the numerator and denominator by z square, so that all negative terms would become positive powers of z. Okay, so you should not have problem with this. Let's move on. Now, what is the problem with this particular sequence? Is this a proper fraction? Can you tell me, is this a proper fraction? No, this is an improper fraction. Why this is an improper fraction? See, the powers are same. So powers are same, or this power is greater than this power. The numerator power is greater than the denominator. Then also it is improper, as we have seen in the previous program. Since they are same, then also we can call them as the improper fraction. They are improper fraction, not calling. Okay. So again, we have to follow the same procedure to get the proper fraction first. Okay. So can we do that? By dividing the numerator by denominator. Okay. Both the numerator and the denominator terms have, so yeah, this is denominator term, this is numerator term. Okay. Both have got the same order. So that's why multiplied by 1 so that I can get rid of the square term. If you, the z square and z square here will vanish. Okay. And you'll be left with 7 by 2z plus half. So here we can stop now. Why here we can stop in just one step? Previous step it was not that. We had to go one step further. But here we are stopping because this is your numerator term. Okay, since numerator has having the power 1 and this is having the denominator term is having power 2. So we can express this as the what? The proper fraction. How to write that now? X of z, now we need to write. X of z would be 1 plus this term divided by this term. This is the numerator term, this is the denominator term. So 1 plus the numerator divided by this. Okay, so x of z would look like this, 1 plus x1 of z. So this term always, so the proper fraction what we get in this equation, in the equation for x of z, that needs to be referred to as x1 of z. So let's again consider x1 of z and get this into a proper fraction. Okay, so x1 of z is considered. Okay, now there is z here, then there is z square here. So z square is dealt with, and z square, this quadratic equation is factorized. Now again, the challenge is to bring a z in the denominator here. How to bring a z in the denominator? We cannot take z common here and we can bring that here. So not possible. So what we did for that? What did we do? We multiplied the denominator by z. So this is how it looks like. X1 of z is multiplied by z, and these two terms will be accompanied by another z. Why is this? Because I want this z to be in the denominator. The rule, the very important rule that one should follow. Otherwise, the right hand side will not be able to get into standard form. Okay, find ABC, which I should not be teaching you. Okay, now, so that we have obtained as 1 minus 9, 8. So this is the equation which would help you do that. Okay, x1 by z, so it becomes this. Okay, so what would x1 of z be? X1 of z be this. This is equation 2. Bring this equation to, this is x1 of z. Don't apply, it will be tempting to apply the inverse z transform here. Okay, so don't go for inverse z transform here. Most of us, we forget that and we apply inverse z transform here itself, because it is in the standard form wherein I can apply the inverse z transform. Okay, but this is not x of z, this is x1 of z, mind you. Fine. So here we need to substitute that. So after substituting this x1 of z in place of in equation 1, we get this. So this is one which was there already, and this part, this part is the x1 of z. Okay, now x of z would look like 2 minus 9z by this 8z by z minus 1. Okay, now you apply inverse z transform to this. Now you apply inverse z transform. Okay, how is it going to look like? The inverse z transform, it is 2 into delta of n. First, we 2 into delta of n. Here the ROC is not, but here is, yes, here it is needed. It is outside the circle with radius 1. The ROC is outside the circle with radius 1. So outside the circle with radius 1 means obviously it would be outside the circle with radius half. So positive time is what we need to, positive time sequence is what it comes with this. And here also it would be a positive time sequence. So what would be the inverse z transform of this with positive time? It would be half power n u of n for this. It would be half power n u of n for this, and for this it is u of n. Okay, so that is what is written here. Everybody understand this? They are quite simple problems once you understand what is proper fraction and improper fraction. Get that point? Okay then. Now I have another. There is another way of dealing with the z inverse z transforms. Okay, one is partial fraction method. Another method is there. Now that I'm going to take. Okay, I didn't prepare PPT for that. I'll directly project the textbooks scan. Okay, we will try understand with that. It's a simple stuff. Okay, with whatever knowledge you have till now, understanding that would be easy. I'll explain you that now. I'll take that share. Yeah. Everybody note what we're going to do now is inverse Z transform by long division method. It's quite simple. This is the extract from Ganesh Rao textbook. Okay, I'll just give you this. Okay, so I hope everybody is able to see this. Okay, so what we're looking at is the inverse Z transform by long division. Till now, what we had seen, okay, is the inverse Z transform by partial fraction method. It is long division method, which is quite simple. Quite simple provided you know the basics. Fine. Now, see this x of z you see, right? That x of z, it is defined by this equation. So after so many days, we are seeing this equation, the basic equation. Okay. Now, how can I expand this equation? See here, how many terms are there? There are infinite terms. Okay, ranging from minus infinity to plus infinity. So ranging from minus infinity to minus 1, they're all negative n's. But every negative n has got positive power of z on negative time sign. Everybody understand? So this is the gist that you need to understand, which you all are aware of by now. Everybody is okay with what I'm saying? See here, okay? This term, okay? From minus infinity to minus 1, I'm saying. From minus infinity to minus 1, they're all positive n's. And for every, sorry, they're all negative n's. For every negative n, okay, there is a positive power of that, because it is minus n means minus of minus n. It would come. So it would be positive n. So it would be z to the power minus of minus 1. So it is z to the power plus 1. So what would be the previous term here? What is the previous term here? It is x of minus 2 z to the power minus of minus 2. So it would be z square here. So every negative n has got positive power of z. Similarly, on the right hand side, every positive n has got the negative power of z. Everybody understand this? Yeah. Every negative value of n has got positive power of z. Every positive value of n has got negative power of z. So every positive value of n has got negative power of z. Every negative value of n has got positive power of z. So understand this. Fine. Let's go on with the next thing. So with that, we'll see this problem. Okay. You have to understand the problem first. Yeah. Read this problem. we're left with 10 minutes. I hope I'll be able to finish some part of it at least. Okay, and this long division method we shall not have for the internals. Okay, let's not let me tell you that this long division method let's not have for the internals. Tomorrow, I have today is your last class, right? So let's not. I'll be able to complete this, but still will not have this long division method. Though this is simple, I have so many other things to be given. Fine. So see here, using long division method, you need to be finding out the inverse Z transform. We have found the inverse Z transform for this using the other method. Okay, the same. Okay. See here, ROC Z less than half. Okay, it's the same term. Now for the second equation, ROC is Z greater than 1. So when it is within the circle, how we need to deal with. When it is outside the circle, how we need to deal with. Everybody understand? When it is within the circle, we have negative time sequence. Everybody understand that? When it is inside the circle, Z less than half. When it is inside the circle, it is negative time sequence we need to obtain. So to obtain the negative time sequence, we need to have positive powers of Z. So that is what you need to be looking for this. But in second problem, what's happening? ROC is outside the circle. Outside the circle means positive powers. So we need to go with the positive uh, powers of Z, or no, sorry, positive time sequence. For positive time sequence, what we'll have? We'll have negative powers of Z. So if it is outside the circle means we'll have negative powers. If it is inside the circle means we should have positive powers. So how can we have negative powers and positive powers of Z is the game here. Here, let's understand that. So this again is by division only. Long division. This is what is called a long division method. Okay, let me come to that. Fine. This is the equation. The first equation is this. Okay, the numerator is being divided by the denominator. This is the first problem where it is where the ROC is within the circle with radius half. Okay, since it is within the circle with radius half, the what is the since it is within the circle with radius half, what is the time sequence we need to have? Negative time sequence or positive time sequence? It is negative time sequence. But with negative time sequence, we have positive powers of Z. So that's why we need to have positive powers of Z as the result here, the quotient. Understand that? Thus, in the long division method, must have the quotient having only positive powers of Z. The quotient should have positive powers now because we are dealing with negative time sequence. Why we are dealing with negative time sequence? Because the ROC is Z less than half. When they are, there are the 3 points. Everybody understand? There are 3 points. Okay, this is long division method. In long division method, when should the quotient be having negative powers of Z? When should the quotient be having positive powers of Z? So that we need to understand. Okay, now the ROC very clearly says that the circle, the ROC is within the circle. So ROC is within the circle means it is negative time sequence. Okay, for negative time sequence, we have positive powers of Z. So quotient, you should see that they should have only positive powers of Z. So how to have the positive powers of Z? See, just reverse this equation. The denominator 2Z square minus 3Z plus 1 is there, right? Don't see it as 2Z square minus 3Z plus 1. Okay, flip the equation horizontally. What is that? Start from the last term first. Start from the last term first. So it will be 1 minus 3Z plus 2Z square. Okay, have the last term first, have the first term last. Okay, so if you do this arrangement, the quotient would be having the positive power. Why? So it is, we have Z here. So 1 into Z would give you Z. So Z and Z goes off. But yes, we are left with minus 3Z square plus 2Z to the power cube. How far we need to go? You can go till infinite term. You can go till infinity. But let's limit to some 4 or 5 terms. Okay. So let's see here now. Everybody understand this? Okay. So this into z would give you this. Okay. So you'll be left with 3z square minus 2z cube, because this is minus, this is plus, this is minus. So this would be plus, right? So it is 3z square. This would be minus, right? So it would be 2z cube. Now 3z square is there, right? 3z square is there. There is 1. So 1 into 3z square is 3z square. So 3z squares goes off. So you'll be left with this cubic term. So it would be z 7z cube minus 6z to the power 4. So I need to get rid of this 7z cube. So 1 into 7z cube will give you 7z cube here. So this is gone. You just see this. You just observe this. We're having positive powers of z. What is the importance of that positive powers? Yeah, everybody can give you attendance. Go on, give your attendance now. After the attendance, I think we can take that. Give your attendance, everybody. Your 44 members, all the 44 give your attendance. Yeah. Those who have, somebody has raised the hand. Yeah, you can. I think I'll just a sec, just a second. Who's it? Who's yeah. Yeah, register number 122. I'm trying to unmute it. It's not happening. Okay, let me do this. Register number 122. You can unmute yourselves, man. Man or sorry, I don't know who is the girl or boy. Sorry, register number 122. You can unmute yourself and you can ask the question. Who's register number 122, 18 EC 122? I'm not able to unmute you. You can unmute from your side. I've given you that option now. You can unmute. Yeah. No. No. Yeah. Register number 122. You can unmute from your side if you have anything to ask. I've unmuted all. Careful, I've unmuted all. Some people are moving, seeing the TV also. Some people are watching TV when they are listening to the thing. We're very sad to know that. Yeah, fine. You can post your question if you have. I don't know. You're not able to do that. Connect to me. Yeah. Okay. Okay. I hope, yeah, it's less than a minute. I'll take this again. This long division method. Okay. Just the thing is, you need to see when you should have positive powers of z in the quotient, when you need to have the negative powers of z in the quotient. Okay. That's simple stuff. I'll be able to cover it in 1 hour, maybe in next session. Okay, on Monday. But don't forget your internals on the afternoon on Sunday. Timing I'll be letting you know. What we will be giving the internals, I'll be letting you know. Hope it could go good. Fine. Anything you have, you can unmute yourself and you can talk, but nobody does that. Okay, you can unmute yourself and you can talk if you want. Okay, if you don't have anything, I think we can leave the session. Or if you have anything to ask, you can even leave your questions in the chat. I'll go through that now. Soon after this session, I'm posting these